Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I'm here with my buddy Seth. Seth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. I'm Seth Werkheiser from Social Media Escape Club, where I get to talk to and hang out with a bunch of creative people that are tired of being on social media. That's me.
Amazing. I love it. I always it always confuses me how people could not be sick of social media, but whatever floats your boat. Like a
They're ho-
capitalist, whatever floats your boat.
they're holding on. They're holding on.
Yeah. So, I want to get started. I used to have a podcast called The Complete Creative, and we used to ask this question: "What are you passionate about these days?" So I thought I would throw it back and ask you, like, what brings you joy these days?
I got to tell you, talking to people about this stuff brings me so much joy that when I started my newsletter back in 2021, I was just like, I want to do more email marketing work, whatever.
Mhm.
And I thought I was going to sell ebooks on how to start landing pages. No one cared. Like it used to be called heavy metal email, and I wanted to help heavy metal bands get on because that's part of my day job. Um, I want to see heavy metal bands get start up email lists again, but that didn't happen. But I changed the name to Social Media Escape Club in 2023, and really, like, I found that there was such joy in actually talking to people about the subject, not in a one-to-one coaching space or this, but it was just like, let's talk about it because no one like it was such a social media. Social media itself is so isolating, and like there were just so many people that were like not talking about it with other people, especially in the creative space. They might complain about it, like in their immediate circle or whatever, but like talking to other people out in the open and like seriously just talking about it and giving permission to be like, yeah, this makes me miserable. And then to find the joy and the happiness and the weight lifted off the shoulders of like when people find out like, oh, maybe I don't need to spend 3 hours a day on this for my career, for my work, for my project. That brings me
Yeah,
joy.
absolutely. I mean, I love it, and I'm trying to remember. That's who. So do you talk to Cassidy Frost all the time? Because she has a newsletter that used to be called "Dedicate Your Life to Music."
We used to talk a bunch about that because Cassidy was hardcore in that whole like go make fans, go get off the internet and go play in front of 12 people, build your email list, and then go to the next town and do that. There's no shortcut in this, especially in the music space.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a lot of conversations about that. We've done like lives or interview kind of stuff like this. We did an interview with Sarah Faye about that, talking about that from the music space. Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I love her work. So we have a kind of convergent paths here because I kind of
Mm,
been doing that with authors, and like the
mm,
authors at least have started to come around to this thing, and I think
mhm,
musicians have come around more in the last 5 years, like the creator economy, and this word
mm,
creator economy that like makes me nauseous also is like, well, now we are able to say art and commerce can merge together, and it doesn't devalue the work. And for so many decades it's
mhm.
like, if you make money on this thing, um
You're a
you're
sellout.
gross and terrible.
You're a sellout. Yeah, you're selling out to the man. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like to pay rent and like buy toothpaste. So
Yeah. Well, it's someone said, anyone who is upset about selling out has never been asked.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I think it's kind of a dick thing to do, but also I kind of think that when you have the opportunity to get yourself in front of a bunch more people, like it's hard to not be like, well, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and like get to 5 people, but like RCA or whatever, or Universal can like do that to millions and millions and millions of people. And
Sure.
I'm going to bring this back around to social media because I also think that is the game that people have played on social media. Like I can only reach people in my local community one on one, 10 to 1, 100 to 1, talking to them. But on social
Yeah.
media, I
Mhm.
can reach a billion people.
Sure.
And why is that making everyone miserable?
I think because it's this simple metric that like the number 12 on the screen looks the same as 120 and
Mhm.
1200. Like there's no change. Um, sure, with Substack, you get a nice icon, if you have 100 paid subscribers or whatever. But I think it's because there's no change. If everything's online and nothing changes when there's, I mean, okay, sure, it shows 31 people on this call, whatever, like that. If that's 300, whatever, put me on a stage in front of 30 people. I know you do some live stuff. That's a whole different ballgame. And but I think there's such value and strength and wisdom to be gained from that by doing the small stuff locally, or traveling and getting in front of people, or on a Zoom call in front of 10 people.
Yeah.
I think the allure of like, oh, well, I don't have 1,000 followers yet on Instagram, or I'm trying to go viral on Substack Notes. Like it's such a, like, so much of it is just trying to impress strangers,
Yeah.
when in fact we have 5, 10, 100 people, whatever, in front of us that have already raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'm here. Like, what are we doing?"
Well, so, I have a weird thing that I think about because I'm an author, not a musician, and I
Mhm.
say, if Stephen King can do it, I cannot win there.
Mhm.
I cannot win that way. Like,
Mm,
Stephen King can build a massive audience on social media, and maybe I like the capitalist stuff that I do and the scale pass. There are people who can be like, "Oh, I can go viral too." I don't have that thing, but what I
mm.
can do is dumb things that make no financial sense.
Sure.
So what I mean by that is it is a bad financial move to drive around the country and play and gig at play venues that have 5 people. It's a terrible financial move in the moment,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like,
Sure.
I think even 50 years ago, people were like, "That's a dumb you shouldn't do that. Like, please don't go and gig." Like, I just know numbers. You're playing at
Mhm.
a free
Yeah.
bar and this person is paying you $50 and there's like 5 there's like 5 people
Well
in your band. You can't live on $10.
well, that $50 went a lot further in 1980 than
That's
it does
true.
today. So,
Yeah. But
unfortunately, it's still paying the $50 all these years
sure. Well,
later.
that is
Yeah.
the problem. It hasn't gone up at all,
No, it
in
has
that
not.
time. But, like, I think about when you say things like, I love that you did music. I didn't know that before,
Yeah.
because I think that it's the best singular, medium to talk about building a successful career
Mm.
because it has all of the things, like everything in like you can't as an author, at least as an author, like as a single person, you can't make a movie.
Yeah,
Probably. You can't make a
probably.
TV show. Probably.
Mhm.
Like, you can't run a symphony orchestra, but, like, you can understand as one creator taking a guitar around places, like, you can do that. And so
Yeah.
when you see things like, well, how do people actually Cassidy had this great post. She's like, "The way that you make a living as a band is you do regional shows, and then once you are a regional show, you go further and further expanding, and then
Mhm.
you start doing bigger and bigger shows, and then you, like, have an audience. And I'm like, "That's exactly how you build any audience."
Yeah. Yeah. Such a big part of that too is you have to learn how to play in front of 5 people on a Tuesday night before anyone's gonna ask you to play on a Friday night in front of 200 people. Like,
Right.
make your mistakes in front of the 5 people. Like, write the bad songs now and keep practicing, keep getting better. Because 5 year like, it so much of it just seems like I need the success now. I need the
Mhm.
success now. And a lot of the times I just feel like, maybe you're not ready for the success now.
Right.
Like, putting so much of the cart before the horse of social media is like, okay, give me the traffic, give me the people, give me the yo. What if you, instead of spending 3 hours a day on social media trying to win that game, what if you just buckled down and like played the guitar for 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
or wrote, or networked, or didn't do anything and just walked in the woods? Like, with 3 hours of that compound a year later, like, would you wish then the opportunity comes up, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm ready for it now. Like, I think about that in my own work of like, I started hosting Zoom calls for Social Media Escape Club in 2023. Nervous as hell. Who's going to show up? probably no, like there were 3 people, and it was just like, but now I do 3 a week and sometimes upwards of 15 people on a call. I love it. We had 20 people on a call for our little New Year's hangout, and a lot more confident with it now. You know what I mean? So whereas a year ago, if I was trying to like get a speaking gig or try to go viral, like I wasn't ready to, because I had someone ask me like, "Oh, I'm doing a panel at a music thing. Do you want to?" I'm like, now I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do that. A year and a half, 2 years ago, I would have been like, I don't know. I don't know. I started small. I hung out with a few people talking about this stuff to get more of a foothold. I'd start real quick is just like I saw an interview that Cory Doctorow did talking about enshittification. Sitting on a couch for an hour and 15 minutes going on and on as if he were reading from a cue card.
Mhm.
But he wasn't. It was all from up here. Because he's lived and breathed this stuff for decades.
Right.
And like, so for him to just rattle on, like everything was like perfect one liner, like it was so polished. And it all came from up here because he just knows his stuff inside and out. And that's what I want to do by not being on social media all the time. I want to like know my stuff now and get good at what I'm doing now. Whatever else will follow.
Yeah, I think that people complain that nobody cares, right? And I'm like, that's the
Mm.
best thing that could possibly happen to you right now. Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
nobody cares. Like, imagine, like, take that to its logical conclusion. Like, it's the, did you ever play Assassin's Creed? Uh,
No, but I kind of know the game.
so Assassin's Creed, the thing that they always say is, nothing is true, everything is permitted. So, like, if nobody
Mhm.
cares, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's not great. But like, also, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, and also, you don't care, like, about everything. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, well, you are expecting everyone to treat you like your like you have been with them for 10 years. And it's
Mhm.
like, I have people on my email list that have literally been there for 10 years.
Mhm.
And they theoretically care. Somewhat. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, why would they think it's so easy to unsubscribe? They bought stuff from me, but
Mhm.
it's like they don't care all the time. They don't care
No.
maximally. My
No.
job every time I bring something into the world is to tell them why they should care. It's to
Mhm.
like pitch the thing. It's to like make the case as like, hey, remember that thing you asked me for here? And they're like, eh. And they're like, oh, sorry, I'm gonna go redo it.
Right. And I'm gonna talk about it next week, and the week after that, and the week after. Like, I'm just because I know too. Like, not our biggest fans don't open every single email. They certainly don't see every Substack note.
Yeah.
Like, so you just keep repeating this stuff, and as artistically and as creatively as we make the work is the same way that we have to talk about the work. We can't just keep saying, "Here's this new thing. Here's my new thing. Sign up."
Yes.
The short, just sell it. You're competing with Netflix.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
people always ask like, yeah, how do you do daily posts or daily emails when I do a launch? And I'm like, well, how do you not? There is an infinite number of axes to talk to these things about
Mm,
people. And just because people don't want this axis doesn't mean they don't want the product. It just means you talked about this thing. Like, there's all of these things, and there are people that are just waiting. There are people that are you're building the case
mhm.
for why someone should buy this thing from you. And like, just because you're not in your head, just because they're not in your head, doesn't mean they're not convincible.
Right. Just because you said that newsletter and 2 hours later, 34 people didn't sign up for something doesn't mean nobody cares. Like people are at the dentist's office.
Right.
People are in line at the bank and stuff like that. People don't maybe they don't open the email for 3 days. That happens. I open up plenty of emails days later.
Yep.
Um, and you got to talk. You got to keep talking about it. But again, like I think if you love and believe in what you're doing, it's just easy to talk about. Like you find the way to talk about it, and it like I don't know how it doesn't spill out. Like you to your point, like posting something every day. Like I could write 15 things a day on my blog. I could, and that's what I do. I write more on my blog now than I send out newsletters because it's just like no one needs 15 newsletters from me a day. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just love this stuff. So and I think if you love it, that to find out how to reflect that. It's like your job to like find out
Right.
how to get that message across.
Right. I mean, just take a book, right? Like a fiction book has probably a minimum 2 characters, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, probably to put like, so like, let's say there's 10 characters, like that's
Hmm.
literally 10 axes right there.
Mm.
Like, let's, I know when my favorite artists like do an album, they often will like talk about each song on the album. And like,
Hmm.
that's 12 songs. That's 50.
Yeah,
And
big time.
I am the kind of person who only who loves albums. Like, I don't actually care about songs one off. Like, sometimes I care about songs, but like to me, the joy is finding an album that like is really well done because for like 30 years, nobody cared about albums at all.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
like when you would find somebody who like made a great album, you're like, you're telling this story. It's great.
Mhm.
Like the thing, like it like has the right beats. Like it was like finding a needle in a haystack. And like something you could put on and just leave on repeat, like, oh
Mhm.
my God, like the best thing. But like, and
Mhm.
like, but like, you have to tell me the story. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I will probably randomly, I mean, on Spotify, I can listen to anything like
Yeah.
at any point, but like I want to hear the story behind each song.
Yeah. And also too, like you okay, touched on this point too of like you want to know that. You want to read it. You want to find out about it. Like not everybody is at that level of fandom. So there's people that are just like, yeah, it's on my playlist, whatever. Fine. Because we're allowed to have all these different levels of fandom. But I think it's so important to like realize that there are people out there that really want to dig into what you do. And like,
Yeah.
so having a body of work, having an archive, having a website, like having a well written like about page of like, this is me taking my own medicine. I just finally updated my about page on my blogs on the 6th. I've been doing this for years, but oops, whatever. Give people a space to dive into and learn more about what you do, which is why I write about like personal stuff on not personal, but like I write about whatever on my own blog. So when people, it goes social media escape club, if they click a link, whatever, four clicks later, they might end up on my personal blog and find out like that I really enjoy trying to walk or run a total of 10 miles a day. Like what? Who? What? It serves nothing to like what I'm not doing that to get like a shoe deal or anything. It's just like I'm just a bit weird like that. And like when have downtime in front of my computer, I'm just gonna go for a walk, and I want that to try to add up to 10 miles a day.
Yeah. I know this is not going to like make sense to most of the people listening, but that is such a Forrest thing to say. What a Forrest thing to say, man. Like
Just
just,
yeah,
um,
whatever. Just yeah.
so, uh, my brain just went, oh, like, so let's continue the music metaphor because, what I, what, when I like, like when I, for me to, cause I'm old, I don't like nights. I get up at 5 in the morning. Like, I
You don't
don't,
like nights, yeah,
yeah.
totally.
So
I
like,
hear you.
I will only go and see a show after somebody has 3 albums that I love.
Okay, okay.
And because I need to love the backlist of the old stuff and the new stuff that they say, and they have to be doing it long enough that
Mm,
like so. And on top of that, I often will like just after an album plays, I'll just listen to like whatever's playing next, and then I will
mm,
go and look at see if that person has an album, and if they don't, I'm like, well, one
yeah.
day they'll have an album, and so it's like there's like if you are the kind of person who only has 4 singles, I will never, literally, ever go see your show unless you're opening for someone else that I love. But like,
Mhm,
that's not an effect on you. It's just like my, in order for you to me to fall in love with your work, I
mhm.
know that like I will need 3 albums because if I'm going to stay up past past like 9 o'clock, I am I need to be really motivated. And
Mhm.
then once you've hit that, I will like even when I'm listening to your album, I'll go buy it just to like support you
Oh,
like
yeah.
all of but like
Yes.
there are so many people that have one great song and don't have a great album and definitely don't have 3 great albums. And
Mhm.
once you can string that together, it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, the music analogy part of it is and to your point too of like not being a night person. One of the best shows I ever saw was Alice in Chains. Uh, Played at 9 p.m. in New York City. No openers, just them. It was
Mm.
like in 2009 or 8 when Black Gives Way to Blue came out. It was so amazing. Anyway, I love those kind of shows. It's just one band.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
saw Slade Cleaves in LA there also. It
okay.
was just him and a bassist, and they just played in like for 75 people. And I'm like, you are like the greatest songwriter of your generation. Like, you're just here wearing like a tattered old shirt playing. It was amazing.
That's so yeah. And so much of that too is output. Like you said, 4 singles. Because so often, especially in the music world these days, especially in the TikTok world these days, artists want to like put out a song on TikTok and see what hits.
Right.
Do people like it? And then it's like, do I make more music like that? Or do I like, and it's just like, because in that point, like maybe you have to, and I've seen this, an artist will have 2 songs go viral on TikTok. Then what? What are you going to do? You gonna go play a show? You only got 2 songs. What are you gonna do with that? And like,
Right.
sure, the labels sign them and this and that, but it's just like you have no experience on the road. You have no you don't even know how to play a show. You don't even
Right.
like
Well,
the nuts and bolts of that. Like,
what does it say about comedians? Like, you start touring once you have 15
mm,
solid minutes, like
mm,
a 15-minute solid set. And
yeah,
I think that's a great, like, that means you have to be able to string multiple jokes together and tell a
hmm,
story that like gets people interested for more than like one thing. And then you
hmm,
have to be so what's that? Like, a joke set's probably like 3 to 5 minutes. So like, you have to have at least 3 things that hit,
hmm,
which means you have to have tried 100 things in order to get
hmm,
the thing that actually will hit. And then you have to see how it plays on the road. And on the road, you play different sets for different audiences,
hmm,
and for different, like, if you go to a place that is heavily not where your core audience is, you're going to be finding a lot more new humans, and you probably
hmm,
are going to play a different thing,
hmm.
right?
Yeah. It's kind of like getting in the reps, the at
Mhm.
bats, sports analogies, but it's true. It's like, to get better at doing the thing, you do the thing. Like 2023, it was like doing these Zoom calls. I feel good after them. I like
Right.
talk. Guess I'm going to schedule more. Like once they're on the schedule, like, and then the fun thing with that is like all these new people I talk to on those calls and just around like Substack lives and stuff, just stories, like interesting stuff that comes out. And then so much of it has to do with people rubbing shoulders with people. Like the more you get in front of people and do this stuff, not just posting, but like talking to the people and not just comments, emails, Zoom call, texting. Like there's so many levels to this. The idea of trying to do so much of this stuff by yourself, the lone genius kind of thing. It's just so much more fun with other people.
Yeah. Well, like the lone genius thing, even like, it it is not true that it
Mm,
can happen. So like, I've been doing this thought exercise with people. I was like, when did Will Smith become super famous?
mm. I don't know, but
Like,
the Men in Black movie stuff or whatever,
right.
right?
But that is when it hit that he was famous, but
Mm,
he actually became super famous by doing the work to make the movie, which
oh
means he
yeah,
had to do the work to get the movie. And then he
yeah,
had to do the work to get that work, to do that work. And backtracking, it's like, in order to get Big Willie style, or I think that was his first, whatever the first album
mm,
was,
yeah,
like, that led to the Fresh Prince, he had to do all of these things. And so we see, wow, he blew up right now. But
hmm,
like, success is a trailing indicator, because you have to do the work of making Men in Black before you get the success of Men in Black.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, you get hired to do the work that you're already doing, and if you keep doing the work, like, I don't know, I'm gonna keep showing up on the Zoom calls, and, like, I love it, people keep showing up, and more people keep saying, "Okay, cool, like, let's just keep doing that." and that leads and all that to say too, like if anyone listened from the beginning of this, like, oh, Seth started his newsletter in 2021, like, or changed it to Social Media Escape Club in 2023, so he's got this head start. No, I've been writing online since 2001.
Right.
Like, I had a music blog in 2001 before social media, before, like, I didn't know what SEO was until I woke up one day and a post had 10,000 clicks because it was 2025 Warp Tour dates. I didn't know that was SEO. Like, and
Right.
I was like, why do we get all? So yeah, it was just a lot of learning and trying stuff. And like that was a music blog. Then I did AOL Music, and then I did this, and then I like worked at Field and Stream for a year. Like, what the heck? And that's 25 years later, like, of just hitting and doing and whatever. And like, I mean, so much. And it's not to discourage anybody, but like, this stuff is a journey.
Yeah.
Like, if could I feel entitled to be like, well, I've been doing this a long time, like I should have more subscribers? Screw that. No one's owed anything. No one's owed an audience. No one's owed a living from any of this stuff. Like, just keep doing the work.
Yeah. And also, there are, if you want to grow an audience, there are actions that you can do that will likely bring that audience to you. I mean,
Hmm.
I talk about them all the time. That's like all of my books are like strategies and things that you can do to like aggregate an audience and actually have one. But like, you're not doing any of those things. Like,
Mm,
you're doing social media, which is the worst way to aggregate attention. It's
mm,
absolutely awful. All it does is aggregate attention for that platform.
yeah.
Boy, like, if you actually want an audience that is yours, you need to understand, one, that your audience is 1 to 2 years behind you. So, like, if you
Mm.
want a monetizational audience, a monetizable audience now, you needed to start 2 years ago. But
Oh.
you can start you can have one in 2 years and, like, as big one, but then when you say, like, because like I did a lot of high growth stuff and like I built a lot of email newsletters for people and like I've trained a lot of people how to do it. And people always complain once they get this once they get a bigger audience, like, well, no one's buying. I'm like, yeah, now from this moment, you have 2 years. You start like the people that you just got right now are
Hmm.
1 to 2 years behind you. And
Yeah.
so if you look back a year and you had 7 people subscribing, guess what?
Hmm.
You're like you look like you have the success for someone who has 7 years, and now you have to do the work to convert them, and if one of those things is not if you can do those things, then in 1 to 2 years, you'll, like, have a nice buying audience, but if you
Hmm.
don't do those things, you are, infinitely never going to have an audience.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, the work require and so much of it too is just finding your voice and your rhythm. Like, it took me a while. It took me years here on Substack to figure out really how I was gonna write and like get away from talking about landing pages. And I started talking about the dreamy kind of stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna go walk in the woods, and like, which was more true to me. Like, I want to walk in the woods and not be on social media, and like, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. And like, some other people came along with that, and it was like, but it took a minute. It's 5 years this October
Right.
that I've been on here on Substack, and like, I'm still learning and still figuring stuff out, and yeah, but I think it goes back to that reps kind of thing. Like, just do more of the stuff, talk more, just even talking about the stuff more. A great thing I learned from one of Cody Cook Parrott's workshops last year that I sat on one was the idea of like, because everyone's like, okay, I need to send, I need to, I got to send out my newsletter. I got to, I see it all the time. On Mondays, I send out the newsletter, and then on Wednesdays, I do. And it's like, well, what about the smaller? And I don't even mean the paid audience. I mean, like, who are the people behind the scenes that you're sending stuff to?
Yeah.
Like, I know I saw that you did a live with Claire Venus recently, and I'm under the impression that you two probably go back and forth on stuff. Like I could envision the two of you like swapping emails like behind the scenes of like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Oh, maybe do this. What?
I literally did this like 3 days ago with her. I
I'm
was
sure.
like, and
Yeah.
my ex-business partner, I did it back and forth too. Like there's so my Lee, my co-host of my
Mm-hmm.
podcast, I do that too. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is super connectors, which are like
Mm,
people that actually like you need in an audience like 3 or 4 people, really people that are going to comment all of the time. Like that
mm-hmm.
literally, if you don't have those 4 people, your community doesn't work. If you have those, because most people are lurkers.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you have those 4 people, the community, it functions. If you have enough people to like make the
Mm-hmm.
comments happen and go back and forth, and like
Yep.
that is, I can't tell you who those people are, but I can tell you that the people that are like that for me are people I've known for like a decade, who've been in my audience for a long time. And let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I have been sending a newsletter not quite as long as you. I had a blog back in 2008, but like seriously, like 10 years, like
Yeah.
2000, like I found strategies in 2014 that I was like, wait, you could just do this and then you have an audience and all you have to do is then like convince them that you don't suck. Like I can do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't not understand the uh getting dinky dunk one at a time person, but I understand getting audience
Mm,
and then like whittling down to just the people who I love. And like there are people that can do both things. And like
yeah.
either way, and like either way is great. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, all I have to do is keep doing this. And eventually some number of I think I got like 200,000 subscribers through between like 3 years. I was like between that like 20,000 stayed and like 175,000 unsubscribed. And guess what? Like on my kit before I moved it over to Substack fully, I had like 30,000 subscribers and 101,000 unsubscribes.
Wow. Yeah.
And just like I don't but like if you don't have access to your people, you don't ever get those people
Mm-hmm.
who will stay around. And then you
Mm-hmm.
allow a social media platform to take those people away from you. And in Hapitalist, I tell people just make this mantra whenever you get pissed off about social media or you're worried about social media. Just say, I do not work for billionaires.
So many bands, so many musicians point, link to, promote, go listen to my stuff on Spotify, where you can't collect anything. You can't get an email address. You don't know who they are, anything. All you got, all you got to do is just change it.
Right.
Oh, it's on Bandcamp. They're going to click it. They're going to click play. It's on the web. Every smartphone ships with a web browser. Like it can play. You don't need Spotify. You don't have to have an app. You can just listen to it. And like, if someone buys it, they're on your email list. If someone it's one thing to like grow a fan base, but it's another if you can reach them. You
Right.
got to
Yeah.
reach them. That's
Right.
that's
Exactly.
that's
Yes.
so important. The work I do for my day job with sending, I do email marketing stuff for a record label. Like it's basic. Like an artist has a new album coming out. Who do we email first? The people who bought the last album.
Right.
Like it's not rocket surgery. It, but we have the ability. Like we know who bought it. We have their email address on Spotify. Good luck.
Right.
Like, so the more you can drive stuff to places that aren't owned by dumb billionaires that are just, they don't care about the art or the culture. They think about shareholder growth. Drive stuff to your own website. Drive stuff to your friends' websites and band camps and whatever. Like that's where the community, that's where the ecosystem is. And like the rising tide lifts all boats. Like we just need to start linking to each other's stuff more often. And like, letting people pay for stuff.
Right.
Like
So
let
so
people
you've
be fans.
Yeah. So you've been around since web rings, right? I love web rings.
Oh yeah, the
Like when
old
I looked at the
GeoCity stuff.
Substack
Yeah.
recommendation stuff, I was like, oh, you just like made web rings at scale. Like it's great. Like awesome.
Thank you for
Um,
that Substack. It works very well for me.
yes. And I do want to say it. So the mantra is I do not work for billionaires. And also like while Hamish and the people that run Substack are not billionaires, make no mistake, A16Z runs
Mm,
like they own they run Substack, but
sure.
like
Yeah.
to a large level, and they are billionaires. So like there's always a somebody trying to get you to perform an action to do your to so what I like about Substack, what I liked about Substack before it became this thing
A
that it
social
is
media
now
platform. Yeah.
is I knew that I was going to spend time and energy promoting Substack. And in
Yeah.
return, I would then get organic growth that I then could control
Hmm.
and that I could then take off platform. And
Big time.
that was the original thing that drew me to Substack. And I was like, this is actually novel. Once the followers started and all that other stuff started, like chaos ensued.
Hmm.
But I still like think about that moment. And if you are not playing and an energetic exchange was equal. I felt
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
the early days and in the early days of Facebook before they masked all the things, like it was also a pretty decent energetic exchange. You got a lot of organic growth. You talked to everybody like they
Hmm.
told you like you like it was really it felt good. The early days of
Yeah.
TikTok also felt good.
Twitter.
Like
Oh, I loved
yeah,
early Twitter. Yeah.
and I think to bring it back around to the social media escape club, it's not the social part that I have a problem with.
Right.
It's not even the media part that I have a problem with. It's the capitalism part that drives it all. That says, I'm going to subsidize your
Mm.
platform for
Hmm.
a number of years so that it performs better than it would normally look.
Yeah.
And then over time, as people get addicted to it, we're going to make it worse. It's that inshitification thing you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Because like when you look at Mighty Network, or like if you're paying $100 a month for like a thing, like you do have access to the people that are there. Just like
Yeah.
they don't work as well as I think like some of the more advanced social media platforms, but like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that a platform is bad. It is
Hmm.
that when you look at something like Facebook, when people complain about Facebook, I'm like, my dear, this is what they always intended. The thing that you remember, the past, was a thing that was subsidized so it looked better. But like their
Yeah.
plan was always to do this thing.
Hmm.
That's the biggest problem that I have.
With an element of lock-in as
Right.
well. Like a lot of people are still locked into Facebook or these other networks because that's where they communicate with people.
Right.
That's where the DMs are. That's where they DM with their family and stuff like that. And I get it. Like it's locked in. Um, Small part of that was Substack too. Like
Right.
I don't want to jump ship right now. Like I enjoy the growth here on Substack. Like if I leave here, like oh, like the recommendation engine, like that's really nice. Like I don't want
Right.
to. So that's a bit of lock in. But to your point too, of like at any time you can export your email list and go somewhere else, which is great. And that's how I justify so much of this. Like I'll get slack sometimes when I post some of my anti-social media stuff on Substack notes. There's always two or three people that are, oh, you posted this on social media. Like, I know, but I'm also here and building an email list.
Right.
Time that I invest here is the equal transfer of energy. Yeah, I'm shilling for Substack, but I'm getting email addresses. And these email addresses, to your point, like you were saying, like, oh, some of these people on my list, like from 10 years ago, 10 years, this email list I create today can pay off 10 years, a decade from now.
Yeah. And
And
they have been there
so
through
that's worth it.
yeah, they've been through every change that I've done too, which is like a bunch of them. So
Hmm.
I think about this a lot, which is um, Thomas Edison worked by candlelight
Mm.
until the electricity. Uh, Henry Ford rode a horse because that was the thing. You use the
Mm.
thing that you
Yeah.
have. The
Hmm.
question is, and someone says the love of the concept of equal transfer of energy. If you go to frictionless growth and look
Yeah, that's
for return of energy exchange, return for energy investment, ROE, I talk about this a lot, but the
yep.
idea is like really what we have all been working with
Hmm.
is we used to so think of a unit of energy. A unit of energy can be anything, but like I like to think of it as the pink energon cubes from Transformers. Do you
Mm.
remember the blue ones? I think are the ones that are new. I mean, the old TV show.
I don't. I do.
Um,
I remember the show. I don't remember the energy cubes.
but like energy can be
Yeah.
anything. This
Mm.
like you could spend time is energy, money
Mhm.
is energy, um, effort is energy,
Mhm.
like attention is energy. All of these things are energy, and
Yeah.
so if you can follow me down this slightly crazy rabbit hole, the next thing you have to understand is that energy does not come back usually in the way that it is exchanged. So
Mm.
I take money and I buy this. I take I take energy and I exchange it for working for a client.
Mhm.
I do I do X and I get Y back. And the question is, how can you get the most value? So, like, now you have to think a little bit as an investor, and you're like,
Mhm.
okay, where can I have a finite amount of energy. It's probably like 30 minutes to an hour a day to like do whatever the thing is that you want to do. And maybe you do love TikTok. Maybe you grow on
Maybe.
TikTok. Maybe you make a lot of money on TikTok. I don't know. Like, great, amazing. Like, if that works
Cool.
for you, if you love it, great.
Do
But
you? Yeah.
most people when they are exchanging their unit of energy. Remember, energy can be anything,
Mhm.
um, or represent anything. You you are looking on the market to see, like, I have money. How do I get more money? Like, how can I get more food or enjoyment of food than the $20? Or how can I at least
Mhm.
match that energy? If you go to like a taco stand and the tacos are terrible, you're like, ugh, ugh, I paid $20 for this? But
Mhm.
look, I've paid $500 for meals, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna tip you. This is so good."
Mm.
So, like, it's all about this energy exchange,
Mhm.
and where social media platforms fail and where they start stripping joy is
Yeah.
that they start and they give you this exponential increase of energy. They're like, "Wow, I did one post and got 500 likes." And you're like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'm getting this really great attention." And then
Yeah.
slowly they eat away at it over time,
Yep.
over time until it's like, "Oh, this feels like a slog." And that's when you have this arithmetic growth of like you put in 1 unit of energy, you get 1 unit back. But then what happens with like a Facebook or something is you're like, "Oh my God, I'm putting in the same like 10 times the amount of effort and I'm getting." This is when things go logarithmic where like it's below 1 unit of energy. And that's where I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are living. There are people who still are getting exponential exchange and they should keep using the thing that gives them exponential exchange. But like, I think that like joy comes from a positive energetic exchange.
Yeah.
And social media generally does not give you that.
And right, and if it gives you the likes or the followers or, like, then what? Like, you gotta get up and do the same old song and dance the next day and the next day, and,
Right.
like, I mean, if you're making it work, if it's helping your bank account, great, cool, but, like, for me, it's just, if you gain 1,000 new followers on social media, which don't even mean anything anymore because the algorithms, like, you might reach 10% of them. Might
Right.
that's being generous. That's 100 people. Like, might as well get 100 people on your email list.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's is that easy? Can you just push a button and do that? Can you just post from your phone and get 100 new email subscribers? No. But maybe a year from now you can have 100 new subscribers. Like,
Right.
which I'd much rather have than the superficial viral whatever cotton candy buzz from
Right.
from the social and all that exists for is the casino has to pay out.
Right.
Every casino has to pay out because if they don't, no one's going to come back. And we all keep going to the idea is I did it before and I struck big and I'm just going to keep playing. I'm going to keep buying the lottery ticket because I know it might happen. It might
Right.
happen again. I might get that spike, and like someone might retweet me. Someone might follow me. I might meet this certain person. And to that, I always think like, I don't have a billboard out on the highway out here either. Like I'm missing all those potential
Right.
customers. I'm not on I don't have a commercial on
You're not
the
dancing
football
on a street
games.
corner. You're
Yeah, I'm not dancing on a street corner. I didn't go to that event last night either. There's 20 people I could have met. Oops. There was another event over here. I didn't go to your event. Like the one that the social media is just one place.
right. Yeah, and here's the thing that I think, to me, like, as we work towards wrapping up, that I want people to take away from this. One, January joy is what we're sort of talking about here. We haven't said anything about it, but Claire Venus and I are running this event this month called January Joy. If you join it next week, I'm going to go through our path of least friction, which is how to kind of figure out your best energetic exchange. But what I think the other thing is, as we work towards wrapping up, is social media. If you want to win at social media, you must be okay with everything being homogenous. There is
Mhm,
one, like, anytime you optimize, even when you optimize humans,
mhm,
like, there's one way to, like, you optimization, like, leads to a result. Like, there is one way to, like, get the most aerodynamic car to do the
mhm,
thing. Like,
mhm,
now, depending on what you optimize for, there are different things you have to do, but, like, there is an optimized way to post on every platform. And when you're
mhm,
looking like, oh my God, everything sounds the same, it is because there is one way to get traction on that platform.
mhm,
But the problem is that that is not all the things that are meant to be said. So Monica, my ex-business partner, and I would always talk about why I said things. Like, I have a book called How to Thrive as a Writer in a Capitalist Dystopia. Let me tell you, that is not going viral on social media. I have one called Publishing is Broken, but we doesn't have to break us, which is even less popular than the capitalism book, which is also not very popular. But these are things that need to be said. And
mhm,
when you have an audience, when you aggregate an audience, it allows you to bring a nuance to your work
mhm,
that social media literally cannot. Like, if I when I post stuff about the things that are in the books on my Substack, great engagement. Like, tens of thousands of people read it. Like, get new subscribers. When I post on social media, there's three. And that's
mhm.
not because there's only three people that want it, because I have an audience of 46,000 people, and they don't unsubscribe when I send things. They read it,
Yeah.
they like it, they do. So, like, I get more likes on when I post something, an article, than I do on social media. And it's because, and the thing that I love about the Social Media Escape Club and all of this stuff is that it allows you, once you have an audience, it allows you to do dumb things at scale. And
Mhm,
look, humanity is made to be inefficient. Like,
mhm,
we have this world that, like, is all about efficiency, but inefficiency is the real flex. Like, we were built to work for 2 hours a day and then faff off the other
mhm,
22 hours. And, like, capitalism and whatever is happening here, social media is making us do this
mhm.
thing where you always have to do the thing. But, like,
Yep.
when you get off social media and you really look at the books or the things that win the Man Booker Prize, those people are not making money, like, on the book, because no one reads those books. But, like, they're the important books that need to be written and should be more popular. And so
Mhm.
the more popular you can aggregate this audience, the more you are allowed to do these very weird esoteric things that, like, are not going to go viral. Yes or no?
Absolutely. Yes, because you have the permission, like, again, you have the permission, you have that smaller audience, you can do whatever. And February 14th, I made break up with social media day. We're
Hmm.
gonna do a Zoom call, you can sign up and hang out, and we're gonna delete a social media app from our phone. Wait, what? Like, yeah, we're just gonna do that. We're gonna hang out and do that. And almost 20 people signed up already, whatever. Like, but it's just like, was there a job posting for that? Was there a big need? I don't know. I don't care. I wanted to do it. And,
Hmm.
like, yes, I have an email list that I can reach out to and be like, hey, I'm doing this. If you want to come hang out, whatever. I'm gonna do it regardless. If there's one person, but thankfully there's 20. Um, Yeah, there's so much in this world that needs to be done and said, and music that needs to be made, and books that need to be written that won't ever sell millions of copies. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be made.
Yes. Honestly, what makes a great album are the songs that won't go viral. And the artist
Mm,
knows they won't go viral
mhm.
and they make them anyway because it makes the album better. And that is how I know someone has achieved like a truly great thing because they're willing to say, I'm making this song because the album needs the song. I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
do I want to make a song that I know is going to get 4 plays? No, but like, I'm not in control here. Like, the album is in control and the audience is in control.
Yeah, I mean, and the artist has to make the stuff thing the first for them. Like, it has to be something for them first. If other people like it, cool. But if not, like, yo, this is what I'm making. I feel that way with a lot of what I do. Like, I'm not on the social media platforms. I'm not, doing X, Y, Z. I'm doing this here. If there's an email list, there's a website. Yeah,
Right.
but I don't, I'm on Instagram. Well, well, I'm not, bud. Like, I guess you're not going to read my stuff. Like, as artists, I think it's important to, there's artists that don't want to play noisy bars. There's artists that don't want to do the gallery thing. What, like, do it, whatever, however you want to do it. There's so many different avenues and ways that we can distribute and get our stuff out there. And it can give, and if that brings joy to you, and like maybe it brings joy to someone else, at least one other person, like in my book, that's a better world. So one more joyous person.
Like, do you read The Business of Luxury? It's like my new favorite
Mm-mm.
blog. It's on
No.
Substack. It's all
Okay.
about like how to make a brand. Like it's all about like Prada is not searching for you, you're searching for them and how to make a brand that like
Ooh.
is
Yeah.
so undeniable. I love it.
Yeah.
Like I think her name is Carol Ann Alexander or something like that. But like
Okay.
I love that brand. But I want to end this
Yes.
talking about your thing and like
Oh, thank you.
what you do. I just want to finally say the reason why I do these lives is because I get the recording of it that I can then
Hmm.
send to my audience. So like this is the
Yeah.
energetic exchange, right? I don't do Facebook lives or Instagram lives or any of that other stuff
Hmm.
because there's no energetic exchange there except what exists in that hour and
Hmm.
this allows me to get to reevaluate the energetic exchange. So tell us
Sure.
about Social Media Escape Club.
Social Media Escape Club has evolved and morphed into more of a community of people that gather and talk. We gather 3 times a week to talk about leaving social media. And a lot of the times we don't even mention Instagram or Facebook or anything. There's times we don't talk about any of that. Or we don't bring up Mark Zuckerberg's name because we're too busy like talking about making zines or setting up at punk rock flea markets or whatever, and like finding new ways, and new ideas, and finding out what's enough. I have a great story about a member that came on early last year, around this time last year, an artist that was making stuff, and they were talking about how oh, I do all this stuff and then I have to post about it and I have to put it up on Instagram and I have to make it and I have to do this. And on this call, mind you, that this was like their first visit, total stranger to me. And I'm not usually this blunt, but I'm like, well, what's enough? And there was silence.
Yeah.
I'm like, and a year later, that person like is doing stuff locally instead and like focusing on their community and they're getting more press than ever because they're doing more concentrated stuff. And it's just great. And like Social Media Escape Club really has helped so many people figure out what enough is, and that it's not these huge numbers on a computer screen. It's more about how I feel inside, the work I can do to help others and bring joy to the world. And that's Social Media Escape Club.
You got a great recommendation from Diana at Sloppy Perfect. Highly recommend Social Media Escape Club. The people are
Diana.
amazing.
Mhm.
I What I love about what you're doing is it takes out a variable. You're like, okay, I'm telling you that your career can work without social media.
Mhm.
So how would it look to do it? And when you add social media in, you're like, I'm just going to post every day. But it's like if you don't have that Skinner box, then how do you make a business? And I know that a business can work without social media because that is how businesses worked before social media. Like Like there is, I don't know if you know this, but there's like tens of thousands of years of history of like the world and humanity, and like for like 99.9999% of them, we didn't have social media.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it. Um, yeah, a large part in that too is modeling it. Like a lot of what Social Media Escape Club I write about and that we talk about is not the X, Y, and Z of well, how do I get my whole audience from Instagram to my email list? How do I get people from spot like how do I super duper grow my we don't talk a lot. We talk more about the experience of like an exhale of like, I don't have to do it on social media anymore. And now I can see with other people that are on that same page of like how they do it. And I go back to Cody Cook Parrott too, was a big inspiration for how I ran, I have really moved Social Media Escape Club where it is now. They had a post years ago of like, they left Instagram. Then they went back. And then they came back to Substack. Now they're off to it's not linear. Like it's not perfect. It's not this like XYZ, like let me teach you exactly how to do it. Like I say this all the time in my Zoom calls. It's like my little rectangle doesn't have all the answers. But the more rectangles we get in here talking about this stuff, that's how we get closer to the answer. And it feels better and like it feels enough.
Yeah, and it's that like layering things on top of each other and seeing how they overlap together too.
To see how photographers do it and musicians do it and at all levels, like it's such a just like this wild bunch of weirdos doing all sorts of different stuff, and it's amazing how it comes together. And I have people on my calls be like, "Seth, I love how you brought this group together." I'm like, "Hey, I didn't like this happened, and it's beautiful." So yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Where can we find Social Media Escape Club?
Socialmediaescape.club.
Amazing. I love it. And you can get January Joy at joy something. joyfulgrowthclub.substack.com or something. Just like it's like my main publication. Just do stuff. Find it if you want it.
Just click around. Yeah. If you click on the phone, like on the profile up there, you'll find it. Like you'll find us. Click around.
Awesome.
Google it, whatever. Yeah. So
I love that both of us are like, just find us if you want to, or don't if you don't.
Thanks.
Like, and that's like the freedom that you don't have usually. Like when you think about social media.
If you want to find it, like years ago, we used to have to go to record stores and like buy stuff and like find stuff. It's all right here on our fingers. We can find stuff a whole lot easier. So Social Media Escape Club. Come hang out.
Awesome. All right. I bet you didn't think we were going to end at 11, but we did. And
we did.
We'll see you next time, everyone.
Russ.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Russ. This is good. Take care.